Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing today? Hey, this is Gregory Wilds coming live to you from Houston, Texas, with this inspirational morning walk, man. First time listeners, I just get some exercise in the mornings and I share my thoughts with you guys, whatever I'm inspired to talk about. I'll share with you guys. Yes, I'm a little late as usual from my regular time. My regular time is usually 7:30 Central Time, which is 8:30 Eastern Time. But I might have to change my timing, so I have to come on a little later now. That's around maybe 8:15 Houston Time. 8:15 Central Time is going to be like 9:15 Eastern Time now. Yes, my son's school. Michael McKinnon, how are you doing, sir? Good morning, and thanks for watching. I hope it's a great weather wherever you are. Yeah, so I have to come on a little later than usual because, my son's school started, so at that time I'm going to be taking him to school. But yes, man, I just want to say good morning, Tessa. Good morning, Tessa. How are you doing? All right, Michael, glad to hear you're blessed. Yes, man, I was off for the last week, so because, for those who know, I've had the funeral for our mom. Everything went well, man. Thanks to all the support and all the love. And on Sunday there, she had asked us to throw a going home party for her, and we had a great time. We threw a party for her, celebrating her life. It was great to know some of the people who listened to me had a chance to come by and celebrate her life with us. We really appreciate that. That was really, really good. So now it's time to move on, man. Move on. It was great. All right, so what I want to do today, I want to shed a little light on something here and try and be a little quick. I want to shed a little light on something here. It's Proverbs 29:15. In the midst of all of this, going on, and now when this time comes, you realize how important it is, parents and the job your parents do, and how important it is for, children to come together and everything, right? So I'd heard this scripture, and I want to shed a little light on it, right? It's Proverbs 29:15. Two scriptures we can deal with. Proverbs 29:15. It said, "A rod and the rebuke give wisdom." This is the King James Version. "The rod and the rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother." I can read it again. Proverbs 29:15. That's the King James Version. It said, the rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother, man. And in a nutshell, this scripture is saying, man, you gotta, it's talking about disciplining your child, being there with your child, not neglecting your children, right? Because they're gonna always bring shame to the parents if you neglect them, right? So that's why I want to shed a little bit of light on, right? Because I know sometimes you can be in the same house and your child feel neglected. You can be in the same house, and I was facing that with my job as you step up, and after 9/11. What happened, we had to cut a lot of hourly salaries. Management and managers had to do more just to keep the jobs. And after the economy come back around, the people saying, if you can do it then, you can do it now. So you had to pick up a lot of slack as a manager. And the hot days would go by, maybe 2 or 3 days would go by, and my son would not see me because I leave early in the morning to go to work, and he's sleeping. By the time I get in from work, he is sleeping. So 2 or 3 days might go by and you may not see him, right? And I realized, I said, this is not good. This is not good, right? So you could be living in the same house with your children and they can still feel neglected, right? They can still feel neglected. And then, I know men are more guilty of this than the women, that they might have lots of children out there that they really cannot discipline, they really cannot give their love to, and those children feel neglected, right? And women more guilty of this than men. The child, you might be, split from the child's father, or you might use the child as a weapon. You want the father to see the child to get back at the father, but then it's a child involved that feeling neglected, right? So, and after when the child's feeling neglected, it comes the next thing, you open the door for rebellion. Now, you open the door for rebellion because the child is going to rebel in some way, shape, or form. Now that I get this knowledge, I see a lot of kids was going, as we growing up, getting into a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Now I look back, and most of the cases were because of the child feel neglected, right? The child feel neglected, and it caused. Good morning, Renita. Good morning. And the child feel neglected because of, some one of those situations there, and they get themselves in a lot of trouble, and they be labeled a bad child, and causing troublemaker and all the right through the whole school. But because it's the same scripture coming to play here, Proverbs 29:15, the rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother, right? So, and the NLT translation says, the disciplined child produces wisdom, but a mother is disgraced by an undisciplined child. All right, and to back up that one, we can go to Proverbs 20:11. Proverbs 20:11. Even children are known by the way they act, whether their conduct is pure and whether their conduct is right, right? So it's saying a child can be known by the way they act. Either you know them as a bad child or you know them as a good child. That's what the scripture is saying. But they can be known by the way they can act. They can have a certain label on them by the way they act. And if we go back to Proverbs 29:15, if they feel neglected and they're acting out and rebelling, we can know them as a bad child, an undisciplined child, a rebel. We can give them all the label. They're known by the way they act. Now, if they had the love and the caring for them, they might be a different type of child. And then, oh, that's a good child, right? So that's where these two scriptures go hand in hand, right? Proverbs 20:11 said, even children are known by the way they act, whether their conduct is pure or whether their conduct is right. So, man, this is so serious, guys. We just want to, and when my case, what I had to do, I had to revisit my jobs. I had to quit the job and do something else, and that's partly one of the things that drive me into doing my own business, so I could spend more time. And even when I started doing my own business, the business got me consumed, and I was in the same situation. I had to change some stuff around where I can be there a little more. I didn't really have this knowledge and seen it this way how I'm seeing it and telling you guys now, but I just know it was the right thing to do. But it's so serious, man. So, guys, I want you to all, to bear this in mind. Those who have young children coming up, even grands, whatever the case may be, a child left alone usually brings shame to the mother. I mean, if they feel neglected for some reason, shape, or form, if the father didn't, there's a lot of reasons people can feel neglected, and you can be living in the same household with them. Some people not checking on the kids. They just got these kids out there. They might even paying child support, but not spending no time with them, and parents, if you split up with the partner, don't be holding the child as ransom and trying to spite the other one, because as they grow up, they can understand if you was keeping me away from a mommy, or you was keeping me away from your daddy, and all that what you do for the child, then they can turn back and rebel against you, and then you can say, oh, so ungrateful, I take care of you when your father, your mother didn't do nothing for you, and now you're turning on me looking like I'm the bad one. But then you gotta look, it's a child you was keeping away from their parent, right? And they're not gonna appreciate that. So rebellion usually follow. There's a small part of a bigger teaching that I might get into, guys. So I'm gonna leave it there. Right? So the rod, I can read them over. Proverbs 29:15, the rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. And then the follow up with Proverbs 20:11 saying, even children are known by the way they act, whether their conduct is pure and whether it is right, guys. So, guys, Petal Daniels, good morning. How are you doing? Right, so guys, I'm gonna leave that there. So we just have to show that love to our kids or grandkids, whatever the case may be, and don't let them feel like they're alone and they're not loved, and make them feel neglected, because after that, if they feel that way, naturally opening the door for the spirit of rebellion, which we might talk about in another teaching, guys. So guys, have a great day. But I'm back now. But for the people who just joined, I'm going to have to adjust my time. I'm going to be on a little later. It can be like by 8:15 Central Time, which is going to be 9:15 Eastern Time now, because, my son's school situation, going to a new school now, and they have the basketball practice in the mornings, and I'm going to have to be taking him there. So I can just adjust my time a little bit. I'm going to be on just a little later. I know that might be inconvenient for some people, but Yeah, for me to be consistent, I have to do it that way. All right, guys. So, guys, have a great day, and we'll talk again on Friday. Okay, bye.